The 49ers got the win in this one, 36-24. Let's take a look at the top 5 graded players for the San Francisco 49ers. Guard Dominick Puni with a 87.8. Strong performance there for the rookie starting at guard. Tight end George Kittle next on the list with a 79.7. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel next with a 78.9. Safety George Odom with a 78.9 as well. And then cornerback Renardo Green got himself an interception in this game, 76.7. And then Brock Purdy, 76.5. On Seattle side of things, Charles Cross, their offensive tackle, with an 82.7 at the very top of the list. Cornerback Devon Witherspoon with a 76.7. Defensive tackle Jerron Reed with a 74.1. Leonard Williams with a 71.3. And then linebacker Jerome Baker with a 70.8. Geno Smith in this one, a 66.3. Real quick, we're kind of going through this one a little rapid fire style. Stat that told the story here, Dalton.
Seattle, 47.9 team defense grade. Their defense has been struggling since the second half of last year, and those struggles outside of week 1 against Denver when they forced Bo Nix into some turnovers, it's been a struggle. Since week 9 of last year, they're 24th in defensive grade, and actually since week 2 of this year, they are 28th, and a concerning thing for me. We knew they kind of struggled. They were trying to figure it out in run defense, but over the last 5 weeks, they're 29th in the league in coverage grade, and this secondary last year was playing a lot better than that.
For me, the stat that told the story is Brock Purdy. I don't understand it. I really do believe this, and this is actually more of a credit to Brock Purdy than anything else. I think he's got the worst arm strength of any starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't think there's a starting quarterback right now that has worse arm strength than Brock Purdy. And yet, he's playing like a top 10 quarterback in the league every single week.
It ain't all about arm strength.
No. It's not.
It ain't all about traits.
You know, that's why he's Mr. Irrelevant. I was talking in a football group chat that we have, and Arif Hassan, who writes for the Wide Left Substack, you know, he was saying it feels like Purdy some games feels like 2015 Peyton Manning, where the arm is nowhere close to some of these other quarterbacks in the league, but he's anticipating so damn well. I mean, there were at least 3 throws that I can think of off the top of my head where he is popping up lollipops to the defense, but he's doing it so fast, and the defense they can't even get over to the football, even though it's just barely getting there to the wide receiver. And I feel like I see a handful of Brock Purdy throws like that every game, and yet defenses don't make him pay. And it's because he is so far one step ahead of the game when it comes to anticipating where he needs to go with the football. He's also excellent under pressure, 75.6 passing grade under pressure, 70.1 on third down in this game, a big-time throw. And so Brock Purdy, man, it doesn't look like it's going to look with most other quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's getting it done. And you got a hat tip to him for how well he sees the game and how well he understands the game.
His instincts, you can always tell at any position, just guys who just have a different level of football instinct, right? I mean, you know, you can go back on guys, defensive guys like Ray Lewis or Troy Polamalu, or certain guys on the offensive side who are just so cerebral, like Larry Fitzgerald. Like at quarterback, there's those guys too. Brady had them, obviously the greats. Peyton Manning had it, right? Brock Purdy just has instincts off the charts. You're right. Especially when he's improvising, it doesn't make any sense. Because some guys, you have physical freaks, right? Like Lamar stiff-arming people and Josh Allen doing what he does with all the physical tools. Just for some reason, it just feels like there's stretches of games where anything Brock Purdy does works. And you don't really, like you mentioned, you don't know why it works. It just works. He's just got such a high level of football instinct that good things happen. I don't know. I don't know if there's some sort of voodoo around him or what. It's just something good always. It feels like with Brock Purdy, something good always happens. You're like, oh no, and then it's just, oh yeah, it's Brock Purdy, right? It's gonna be fine.
My most impressive in this game, rookie cornerback Renardo Green getting the start because Charvarius Ward was a late scratch with a knee injury. 66 snaps in this one for the rookie, 50 coverage snaps. 76.2 overall coverage grade, 11 targets against him, only 5 catches allowed, gave up 57 yards, did give up a touchdown, but had an interception himself. 92.7 coverage grade in single coverage, which is important because, you know, that's a matchup that the Seattle Seahawks like to feast on, but it's something that Renardo Green also did very, very well at Florida State specifically, playing in single coverage, man coverage situations. And when I watched him at the Shrine Bowl, it was the same thing, man. He was the guy in the one-on-one drills and the team drills. He was the guy in man coverage who was locking down whoever their number one was on the other side of things. So it's the exact role that he was ready for. They put him in a good situation, and I thought you saw him shine because of it. Most disappointing, real quick for me, it's Stone Forsythe, their offensive tackle. I know they're kind of down to like offensive tackle option number 4, no Abe Lucas, no George Fant, but Stone Forsythe, man, it's tough. He is a major weak link for that offensive line. 10 pressures allowed versus the 49ers, and that was a mark that was top 10 or bottom 10, however you want to look at it, when it comes to most pressures allowed in a single game this season, 10. And his 12 pressures allowed against the Lions in week 4 are the most. So he is now in possession of 2 top or bottom 10, again, however you want to look at it, games where he has given up the most pressures in a single performance. It's hard to win when somebody is that much of a weak link for you.
And you just mentioned the two teams there that line up their best guy on that front side over the right tackle. That's Hutchinson, and that's Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, I believe, had 14 pressures in this game, which is filthy. And did Hutchinson have what? Was that the game he had 15?
45? I don't know.
Whatever it was.
You said a number in the 30s.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Hutchinson and Bosa going against Stone Forsythe is tough. You feel for him with those matchups. Most impressive, fun story. I'm sitting somewhere watching this game with our good friend Dave Silfaro, and I told him, I said, Dave, I graded these games. I was a grader for 3 years, and I kind of know how these things work. And I'm sitting there watching big number 77 at right guard, Dominick Puni, and I was like, Dave, he's grading 90. He's grading 90 in run blocking. I guarantee it. This is just nasty. I mean, it felt
he's
like
got the eye of the grader.
I was literally like, I just know this is going to be a disgusting level of run blocking grade, and he got a 90.3 in that. 10 positive grades in run blocking for him. I'll tell you what, they found an absolute gem. And moving him, he played left tackle at Kansas last year too. For him to be this good at right guard, I mean, I think it's over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Trevor, we got a stat behind the scenes that's called run blocking impact percentage. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's the percentage of positively graded blocks over your total amount of run blocks. His over the last 4 weeks is it's a little bit above 25%. And to get an idea on that scale, it's kind of, you're having a rough time if you're around 10 or under, okay? Average hovers around 15. The really good guys are at 20, and then you get maybe like 3 or 4 guys that hover around 25%. His are above 25% the last 4. He is just mauling people in the run game, and his level of athleticism getting to the second level is off the charts. It is just, man, oh man, what he's doing for them right now at right guard honestly could be because the rest of their offensive line outside of Trent Williams has been an issue.
Well, now they got maulers on both sides. They got a right guard and they got a left tackle.
He could be an actual difference if they are to win a Super Bowl this year as a rookie. I'll tell you, I know Rookie of the Year is going to a skill player or quarterback or whatever. Mm-hmm. This guy should at least get some sort of just acknowledgement of like, oh, wow, they have like a primetime right guard now all of a sudden that they drafted in, the 3rd round, I think they got him. I mean, he's been spectacular. And I knew watching that game, I was like, oh, that's a baller. This is a whole new problem when you're playing the 49ers.
Most disappointing. Then we get out of here.
We're getting the Geno Smith deep ball regression. The last 2 years, he was the best deep ball passer in the league, highest grade. I think he had a perfect 99.9 over the last 2 years, and it's getting to be a problem now because it can be high variance, right? You're throwing deep balls, chucking it down the field. They're low probability plays. 1 for 7 on deep balls in this game. 81.4 deep passing grade for the season, which sounds great, but it's actually 14th in the league. It's a thing where the best part of Seattle's offense the last 2 years was Geno and Metcalf and the deep ball and making big vertical throws, and it's not coming as often this year, and their offense is kind of suffering for it because they don't do a whole lot else at an elite level. That was the thing that really separated their offense the last 2 years, and now it's not elite. Even if it's average now, I think they have a problem if Geno's deep ball is going to be kind of not what it's been the last couple of years.